It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. Something except from their last studio release, Blind Rage, that's called Dark Side of My Heart. And a guy who has led the ship for Accept for so many years. I want to welcome back to the Classic Metal Show guitar great Wolf Hoffman. How are you, Wolf?
Fabulous. Let the ship. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm the captain.
You are the captain of the ship. Legend.
Captain Wolf speaking to you from the bridge.
Right, exactly. Well, Wolf, we're always happy to have you here on the Classic Metal Show. You guys have been working very hard over the last, 10 years, I guess, almost 10 years now with your new lead singer and turning out great albums, the last 3 with Mark Tornillo, and you guys are ready to hit the road again.
That's correct. Yeah. I mean, we've been, let's see, when did we regroup? I think it was 2009.
Right.
2010 when the first album. So, it's been a good 5-6 years anyhow that we've been working pretty much nonstop on this new chapter of Accept. It's been, nothing but amazing.
Yeah, I agree. And one of the things I was thinking about, I was sitting here listening back to the last 3 Accept releases. And for a veteran band who's been around 30 plus years, and, you guys took a hiatus there for about 15 years. And then when you returned with Mark, you more or less reinvented yourself, but yet maintained that Accept sound.
Yeah, it's amazing how that worked. I mean, I think I have to give Andy Sneed quite a bit of credit in that because he was at the right point at the right time. He just showed up when we were thinking about making another record, and all of a sudden he was there and introduced himself, and turned out he was a huge Accept fan growing up. So he was the perfect man for the job, just came onto the scene at the right time, and, he was very responsible in sort of forming the direction of the new Accept, if you want. He made sure it's really along the lines of what an Accept fan from the old days might expect out of a new version of Accept with a new singer. So he had something to do with it.
Well,
of course,
go ahead.
Not only him, but Mark and his voice, of course, has got a lot to do with it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I would say that this lineup of Accept, especially with the last 3 releases, it's Accept turned up 4 more notches.
Well, thank you very much, and that's what a lot of fans have been telling me. So that makes us super happy because that's more than you can hope for when you do a thing like that, where you come back after a long break and you have a new singer. That's the cards are pretty much stacked against you at that point, and it was just like that. Everybody hated the idea of us coming back with a new singer, but then once it all turned to the positive side of things, once they heard the actual product, once they heard the band on stage, once they heard the albums, it was all, oh, fuck, this is pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Wolf. The Classic Metal Show has been around for 20 years. And my partner, Chris, and I, prior to the release of the first Accept album with Mark on vocals, we were skeptical. I mean, we really were skeptical. But when
everybody was,
everybody
was. And I can't blame him. I would have been skeptical, and deep inside, we didn't really know how this was going to turn out. We just felt like, well, hell, we've got one more fight in us, and if this doesn't work, maybe then we'll retire for good. But we both thought, if this isn't going to work, I don't know whatever will work, because Mark had the perfect voice, and we were still full of energy, and we thought, why wouldn't this work? There's no good reason why it shouldn't. And so we gave it all we had, and my God, it turned out all right.
Absolutely. Well, I got to ask you, Wolf, being a veteran guitarist and someone who's been part of a legacy band for as long as you have, it's just inevitable that a majority of bands suffer lineup changes here and there. This is nothing new. I mean, you had lineup changes all the way back in the early days, and obviously with with Udo leaving the band, and you've had a lineup change here a little over a year ago. What makes a band a band? You know, what is the essence of a band that you can suffer a lineup change with some key members maybe, but continue on and still be as strong or even better?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it has something to do with the songwriters, really. It's what it all comes down to, like who writes the songs and how are the songs? Are they along the lines of, I mean, yeah, what defines the style of a band? At the end of the day, it's the songs, man.
Yeah, I agree.
I think. And, you know, and somebody in that band has to be sort of the driving force, and it's certainly myself and Peter in this band, and always has been, you know. So we're going back almost 40 years, and that has never changed, and we've always been the ones writing the majority of the songs together, and that alone guarantees a stability over the years. And then, of course, you can have a different drummer, and you can have a different. We have not many, but quite a few other guitar players over the years that on that position. But really, that doesn't really change the core of the band ever.
Sure, absolutely.
And speaking of which, the two new guys we have right now, they're amazing. They're really they brought a lot of new energy to the band, and you know, brought it up yet another notch. So we're very happy with those two guys right now.
Sure, absolutely. Good stuff. Well, Wolf, you're working on finishing touches on something that's a kind of a departure from Accept, obviously. You're doing your solo classical album. I know that you were speaking with John in your hotel room at NAMM about it, and I know that you anticipate getting it out sometime this year. So can you tell us a little bit about your classical album?
Well, it's in the can, as they say. It's all done from my end. Even the cover is all done. It's en route to the label, and whenever they decide that the timing is right to release it, then we'll let everybody know, which is most likely going to be in the late spring this year, you know, towards the summer. We don't know exactly the week or the date yet, but can't be long from now. And I'm super excited about it because it took so long for me to to get this thing ready, only because I was only able to work on it a week here and a week there, whenever Accept wasn't totally busy. Whenever I found some free time, I went back and again over the years to this project that sort of dragged out for a long, long time. So I'm super excited to now finally have it finished and out of my system, and I can release it and let people actually hear it. So that alone is awesome.
Sure. You know? Well, at what point in your life or in your career did you take an interest in classical music? I know, being, European as you are, and, that seems to be a bigger influence for the European market. But at what point in your career or your life did you find classical music something of interest to you?
Very early on, actually. Even already as a teenager, I was exposed to it, had not a huge interest, but I had some interest in it. But I always figured, this is not for me. I do metal and I do rock and I do play electric guitar, so what do I have to do with classical music? But then the older I got and the more interest I had in it, the more I discovered, well, wait a minute, there's a lot of things that are similar that you can actually pull from. And we started with Accept for the first time with Metal Hearts to actually use some classical nuances and melodies and actually put them into our songs. And it worked so well. We got such an overwhelmingly good, positive response from all the fans that, I thought, wow, this is very cool. Maybe I should one day make a full record out of this. And in 97, I did. I made a solo record just with classical pieces that I metaled up. It was a lot of fun. And I always dreamed about doing another one because it was so much fun.
Sure.
And here it is, number 2, coming out now. Just slow going.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it is a work of passion, right?
It is, and it's a tremendous amount of work, and I actually re-recorded everything several times because I wanted strings to have. This time around, I didn't want it to be so scaled down like with my first album. I wanted an orchestra as part of the whole sound. And at first, I was recording everything with computer strings in the studio. Didn't like the way it sounded. We redid everything one more time, and then finally I did it with a real orchestra, and I flew out to Prague and it was the best thing I've ever done that I went all this way. But I actually re-recorded those parts 3 times in the end. So it's the third time the charm.
Excellent. All right. Well, we're looking forward to that. At least I am. I'm always looking for some good mood music. You can't bang your head 24/7, so sometimes you got to slow it down a bit and get a little cultured.
That's true. Exactly. Time to get some culture in you, baby.
Exactly. Well, Wolf, Accept is going to go out on the road for a couple of dates here in the U.S. Next week, as a matter of fact. You guys are playing up at a good friend of mine, Ron Keel. You're playing up at his Badlands location in Sioux Falls.
Yeah. And in what way is he involved in that? I've actually known Ron for many, many years. I haven't seen him in forever, but I've met him over the years many times.
Yeah. Well, he's got his new gig up there in Sioux Falls at the Badlands Pond and doing a radio show and got a nice venue up there. And, he's just
Yeah.
I'm
excited to see him again. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun show. Can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I plan on making a trip up there myself. And then, of course, you're coming over here toward the Chicago area to St. Charles, Illinois. You're playing over at the Arcadia Theater. And, you guys are just kind of, wetting your beak, as it were, before you decide to start maybe working on some new Accept material or before you head down south.
That's correct. Yeah, we're going to do a handful more shows in South America, one show at a ski resort in Germany, which is something that's totally new to everybody. Everybody knows about the cruises nowadays, but this is one step further. It's actually a ski resort that they turned into a metal festival. Go figure. So you can actually go skiing and listen to Accept at the same time.
Right.
Or not at the same time, but after hours, anyhow. So that'll be fun, too. And then we do South America, which is always amazing. And when we come back from that little run, we'll definitely head right back to the studio to start working on the new Accept album.
Sure, absolutely. Well, very cool, Wolf. I looking back in your career, did you ever think that you'd be this busy this late in your career, to where the demand is up and the interest in Accept is up and the interest in your, obviously your excellent guitar playing ability? It's like a nonstop train for you.
It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, that shows you can never plan these things, especially in show business. Anything is possible. When I was a kid, I just had a big dream of becoming a musician. What that really meant and what the consequences of that really are, I didn't really know, to be honest, and nobody of us did. We just knew we wanted to play music, and we're super fortunate to have achieved that goal, that we can actually travel worldwide and people all around the world know about us and like our music. So that alone is pretty mind-blowing. And everything else is just gravy to me. So to be able to do this still is awesome.
Yeah.
So, fully aware of it, man. And I enjoy every moment, especially when we get to be on stage.
Exactly.
That's the fun moment.
Exactly. Well, Wolf, is there anything else you want to let the fans know about? Got anything else going on? I mean, as if that isn't enough, but anything else you want to let the fans know about?
No, man, just want to say thanks for the fans that they are even still around. There's so many fans that are rediscovering or discovering Accept for the first time. So it's awesome for me to see that there's such a variety in fans nowadays. We've got people that have been following us for 30-plus years, and we've got people in their teens that are just discovering Accept for the first time. So it's awesome to have this wide range of an audience, and just want to say thanks and stay tuned. We're going to see you soon.
Excellent. All right. Well, you can catch Accept out there at the Badlands Pond out there at Sioux Falls, South Dakota, with our good friend Ron Keel. Out there on March 3rd, and right here in the Chicagoland area on March 5th, and then over in Austria and down south in Argentina and Brazil over the next through April. So check them out on their website and on their, I'm sure you guys got a Facebook page and all the social media out there. So
what's that called? Accept Worldwide, but if you just Google Accept, you'll always find it.
I'm sure you will. All right, Wolf, it's always a pleasure to have you here on the Classic Metal Show. We look forward to your classical release as well as some future Accept material, and look forward to you out on tour and see you live on stage and all that good stuff. So
always a pleasure speaking with you, my friend. So take care and see you guys soon, okay?
All right. Well, Wolf, before I let you go, I always let our artists pick a song from their last studio release. And what do you think we should play to take us out of the interview?
Oh, let's see. How about Stampede?
Okay. What about that song you like?
I think it's right. We use it as an opener during our live shows right now, and I think it just works really well. It says everything you need to know about Accept. It's got all the classic elements, and it comes full force right out of the gate. So why don't we pick that?
Perfect. All right, well, here it is. This is Accept from their Blind Rage release, and this is Stampede exclusively here on your Classic Metal Show.